I think Best Western joined us on this great effort because Haiti now is so much more stable and safe.
I can feel it in the last 4 or 5 years. There's been a gradual improvement and a drastic improvement actually in security.
For the past 2 years I've lived and worked in Haiti. I can tell you it's a pleasure to work here.
If you go to my house, I don't have a wall around it, I have a fence around it. You know, I leave my doors open at night.
I would encourage all investors out there to come and join us in Haiti and to invest because Haiti is a great place to invest right now.
Philanthropy is what brought Toms to Haiti, but what will keep us in Haiti is business. There's no doubt about it that Haiti is open for business.
Haiti's open for business.
We are open for business.
Now, I'm not here to talk about yesterday's Haiti, nor am I going to speculate about tomorrow's Haiti. I'll let you do that exercise perhaps when you come out tonight. I'm here to talk about today's Haiti. Today's Haiti has 77% primary school attendance rating. In 2006, we had 46%. That makes Haiti the fastest growing country in terms of progress in primary schooling over the last 7 years. Don't take my word for it. This is UNICEF. Today's social programs that we've inspired ourselves from countries like Brazil, Bolsa Familia, countries like Mexico, countries like Colombia, even our neighbors, Dominican Republic, have allowed 1.3 million kids this year to go back to school on the basis of conditional remittances, which afford mothers, disenfranchised families, an option, not to send their kids to the street corner to sell any kind of goods, to bring back an income for the family. Reminds me of a meeting we had with President Lula, Prime Minister Lamotte, back in May. In Sao Paulo, as we landed in Sao Paulo, we organized a meeting with President Lula, who himself was leaving to travel abroad. What was supposed to be a 20-minute discussion turned out to be a 2-hour-long debate. One of the things that struck me personally, but I think also the Prime Minister, President Lula said, when I arrived at the presidency in Brazil, I decided to put the poor on the balance sheet, and it paid off. I, for one, have lived in Brazil in the 80s, what we call a Nova República, the end of a dictatorship. But it's also referred to as a lost decade in Latin America. For Brazil, it meant hyperinflation, 1,000+% every year. The middle class at that time was 28%. Now it's 55%, as per the Vice President, Michel Temer. So they're doing something right. We want to inspire ourselves from successful models. Reminds me also of another very special individual, Nobel Peace Laureate, Professor Mohamed Yunus, who happens to be also a distinguished member of the Presidential Advisory Council in Haiti, which Mario Garnero is also a distinguished member of. Those are two individuals that have decided to bet on the poor, and it has paid off. Grameen Bank is there to demonstrate that when you bet on poor and disenfranchised populations, the return on investment is there. We tell you about strong macroeconomic fundamentals in Haiti because it seems we forget that at the end of the day, investors look to that before they make a business decision. Our GDP growth last year was 4.5%. Our foreign reserves, over $1.5 billion for a $7.5 billion economy. It's not too bad. Inflation is in check, despite what we call the Dutch disease syndrome. Now, what do we refer the Dutch disease effect to in modern jargon? Post-conflict or post-natural disaster economies that see a massive influx of foreign capital usually suffer from an inflationary trend that increases significantly the cost of living. And yet, our inflation last year was 6.5%. Foreign direct investment is up 25% year on year, and I expect this to grow. Another misconception about Haiti relates to security. I'm going to refer to the UN Department or Office of Drugs and Crime that has a bi-yearly homicide rate, global homicide rate. The US homicide rate last year was 6 homicides per 100,000. Central America's rate goes anywhere from 13 to 98, the most dangerous region in the world. Same thing for the Caribbean. Our immediate neighbor, the Dominican Republic, which I love so much, and which attracts 4 million tourists a year, is at 26 homicides per 100,000. Haiti's at 8. So again, people, I call on you to bridge that gap between perception and reality and spread the word. Haiti is also strategically or geostrategically positioned at the crossroads of transatlantic, Pan-American, and trans-Pacific routes. And with the expansion of the Panama Canal, maritime trade will double over the next years in Haitian waters. There are great opportunities for investors. Now, I sometimes hear the notion of a failed state referred to when talking about Haiti. What is a failed state? If anything, Haiti is a recovering state. And let me tell you, don't let anyone tell you otherwise. We're steadfastly becoming a frontier economy. Now, what is a frontier economy? You all know what a frontier economy is. This is your bread and butter. An economy that is recently opening up to international markets. An economy that has tremendous potential in resource and resource extraction. An economy where the return on investment is proportionate to the risk. And as such, if anything, Haiti's probably the only frontier economy in the making in the Americas. What am I trying to say with this? Perhaps the Fortune 500 publicly traded company are risk averse to a market like Haiti. But there are pioneers out there. Look at Dennis O'Brien, $1.2 billion invested in the Haitian economy. And today, it's the biggest market. He's revolutionized the way Haitians communicate. Corporations pay. He's revolutionized the way Haitians do business through mobile banking. We've seen that in Africa, and it's happening right here in our backyard. So today, on behalf of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Michel Martelly, on behalf of His Excellency the Prime Minister of the Republic, Laurent Salvador-Lamotte, and on behalf of all Haitians, I want to show you the new Haiti. Haiti is not the sweatshop that international media is growing accustomed to promoting. This is Haiti. This is what we do in Haiti today, and nobody hears about it. Spread the word. And I want to call on you to unleash the collective economic forces that you all represent today. Blake Mikowski said something very profound. He said, what brought us to Haiti was philanthropy. What's keeping us here is business. You want to be philanthropic in Haiti? Send teams out there. Help us build that frontier fund that will unleash the collective forces that you all represent today. Where is the privatized Marshall Plan that we've been expecting? We know it's coming for Cuba. We know it's coming for Myanmar. So let's make it happen for Haiti. Again, thank you on behalf of a grateful nation.